of Manipur have written separate letters to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, putting forward their respective demands. Both sides have made conflicting demands over the presence of Assam Rifles in the state. It is an extremely strange situation which has developed in the state of Manipur, where, earlier there were talks of how Kukis were responsible, then there were talks of how Meiteis were responsible in fueling the violence which is going on. And between this claim and counterclaim, one force which has unwittingly or wittingly entered into the crosshairs of both Meiteis as well as Kuki community is the Assam Rifle. And it's a very strange situation which has developed. On one hand, 40 MLAs, mostly Meiteis, have sought the removal of paramilitary forces from Manipur, read Assam Rifles. And on the other hand, 10 Kuki MLAs have urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to retain the same Assam Rifles for the security of the tribals in the state, citing that the force is being falsely blamed by the Meiteis to target the tribals. Today we debate on how the Assam Rifles have come in the line of fire, and we have been joined by Dr. M. Ramananda Singh, who is Associate Professor, Kirodimal College, University of Delhi. We have been joined by Dr. Thang Zakhop Tombing, who is Assistant Professor, National Law University and Judicial Academy. We have also been joined by Major Amit Bansal, who is a geopolitics and geostrategic expert and somebody who has been part of the Assam Rifle. And Suhas Chakma will be joining us, who is Director, Rights and Risks Analysis Group. But first listen into what MLA M. Rameshwar Singh, who was part of the 40 MLAs that submitted memorandum to Prime Minister. This is what he had to say.
MP of Meghalaya, Srimati Agatha Sangmaji, and along with some MLAs of National People's Party had met Honorable Union Home Minister Amit Shahji a few days back. And our main point of discussion with him was to bring peace, harmony and normalcy in Manipur at the earliest by using whatever democratic constitutional system, and also to make it very clear to the people of Manipur that today BJP-led India government, where National People Party is also one of the allies, should stand for the people of Manipur. Hundreds of years of our tradition and culture and of living together, 34 communities living together as a state. Because of whatever problem that has happened, it has been disturbed, and there is a lot of misunderstanding at the moment, and this should be sorted out, and we should try and bring peace and harmony. And I had also requested Honorable Union Minister that the narrative that some of the agencies are trying to build, saying that all the Sioux Kuki militants are in the camps now, and the weapons are all with them. So the doubts that is coming to the people of Manipur when this kind of narrative is built, and then from where the fire is coming, who is firing from the other side. So this is very clear from the statements made by the Honorable Union Home Minister also, that there are some illegal immigrants, illegal Kuki militants coming from across the border. And as I have been always saying, that there is an external aggression involved in this, where the national security is also compromised. And it is important for us, not only for saving the state of Manipur, but for saving the nation, that something very, impactful, some effective action, some surgical strikes should be done, so that the problem is solved for once and all.
So interesting word which has been used, and which was very much in currency. Mr. Suhas Chakma has also joined. Welcome, sir, to News9 Live. This very interesting Dr. Singh usage of the word surgical strike. We had heard it in a different context, but Dr. Singh, I'll first come to you. It is very, very interesting to see that in the middle of this claim and counterclaim of a blame or counter blame, if I may say so, between the two ethnicity, somehow it is the Assam Rifle which has been unwittingly or wittingly caught in the crosshairs, and now one community wants it to be gone, the other community sees it as the protector of them and their interest in the land which they feel is biased against them. How do you look at this scenario? And do you agree with what Dr. Rameshwar, the MLA, said that that surgical strike is needed? And what exactly does he mean by that surgical strike? If you would understand or explain it to us, sir. Dr. Singh. Dr. Rameshwar Singh?
Hello.
Ramananda Singh, I'm
Hello.
sorry. M. Ramananda Singh.
Yeah, basically the word he used is in the context of the famous word used to use in election time. So I will not comment on the surgical strike concept, but his point is very clear that there should be a concrete and meaningful dialogue, and there should be a step to be taken for the peace and harmony in the state. That is the main point. The point here is till now, more than the 3 months, still the state is under the turmoil, under instability. That's why the people worried about it, and from every corner, people are trying to help. People are trying to approach, reach out, so that the common way to come out from these kind of unrest in the state. That is why the different party and different groups also coming out to look at. But the point here is the soldier of the points of the Assam Rifle people have raised is a issue of discussions today, is because of the trust deficit among the common people regarding their partiality in handling the law and order situation in some area. I will not say that all the Assam Rifles are not bad or are not behave in different way. Most of the Assam Rifles have worked tremendously and a great job in the maintaining the law and order situation in Manipur. But particularly in the letter, you can see the 40 MLAs have written the letter where they have mentioned particularly the three Assam Rifle unit where they have mentioning about the 9, 22 and 37 Assam Rifle, where the problems have faced with the common people, and their mistrust is there in the how they have handled the situations in that particular region. That's why they have been quoted and they have been asked questions to at least streamline and try to for the time being try to let them step out of this way in maintaining law and order, rather than the other the central force with the state force should be placed into. That is the main issues in the letters.
Okay, Dr. Tombing, it's very interesting that though there is a call for complete disarmament, the 40 MLAs who have submitted a memorandum to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there's a call for complete disarmament, and they say that this is key to achieving peace. Yet, the focus is on, in the last 1 week, the focus is completely shifted to Assam Rifle. The Kuki is saying that Assam Rifle should be there because the police is biased against them. The Meitei MLAs and civil society are saying that they should be removed, and any other state, any other central forces should be brought because they don't trust them. They are siding with the Kukis. What exactly is happening, and why do you think that Assam Rifle is being targeted?
First of all, thank you for the invitation. The Manipur imbroglio after 3 months is like looking deep into the abyss of darkness. And as the day passes by, it becomes more and more difficult to ascertain who is saying what. And therefore, it becomes very problematic to clearly say that who is on the wrong, who is on the right. With regard to the Assam Rifles being drawn into a kind of an FIR, and also 40 MLAs belonging to the Manipur Legislative Assembly, majorly from the Meitei community, asking them to be replaced and then be redeployed. According to their submission, the understanding is that they think they are an impediment to the safety, security, and peace of Manipur. On the other hand, the counterclaim of the Kuki Zo leader is that it would harm and jeopardize the safety and security of the Kuki Zo community if the Assam Rifles are being removed. And if we take the arguments further, because these are state forces, and the Assam Rifle is under the Home Ministry, and now if we connote it with the allegations made by the Kuki Zo community that the Manipur State Armed Forces are partitioned, and therefore they do not have any trust and belief in the armed forces of Manipur towards the safety and security of their people and community. And again, the armed forces, the state forces of Manipur, usually in the beginning of the mayhem was under the CM, and CM keeping the portfolio of the Home Ministry under him. Now, if we take it, the argument further to the Home Minister's statement, that the Home Minister say the CM shall continue, and the reason he gave is that he is cooperating. Now, Assam Rifles' explanation to the allegation is that they have always played by the ethos of Assam Rifles, that is reaching out to the hill people and then the people at large with an extended hand of friendship. And they have always said that they will anyway try and work with commitment to saving lives and restoration of peace. And it is true that they have done a commendable job, and they are directly under the Home Ministry, and they are under the unified command of the Indian Army. Now, they also say that they are following the guidelines of the buffer zones, and they are doing their duty. And now, for the Meitei community and then the legislators who have asked for the removal from the Prime Minister, is that they are a threat to safety, security, and peace. On the other hand, the Kuki Zo community say that they are important to ensure safety and security of the Zo community. Now, here, Home Minister, how would he take a call? Would he say that since they are cooperating and then they are simply doing their duty, the question of doubting or asking or questioning the integrity should be ruled out, since they are cooperating and they are doing their duty as assigned? Thank you.
Major Amit Bansal, it's a very strange kind of paradox, because it's been more than 100 days when violence unleashed in the state of Manipur, and it's been more than 100 days since we have been covering this incident day after day as part of our commitment. It's very ironic, because we have seen the entire situation metamorphosize from fight between Kuki and Meiteis to illegal immigrants, to war on drugs, to othering of the community, to finally see Assam Rifle being at the center of the controversy, where 40 MLAs write that, you heard MLA Rameshwar Singh saying that the patience is running out. There is a need for surgical strike after the famous surgical strike statement, and also that they should be removed immediately and should be replaced by friendly central forces. What do you make of this?
So firstly, Brajesh, I would mention, see, a lot of developments have happened in last 48 hours in the country. First, there was a meeting of ITLF leaders with the Home Minister, where he made some commitments. Then there was a statement of Home Minister in the Parliament. Then there was a statement of Prime Minister in the Parliament. Today and yesterday, there has been all the senior commanders have been meeting in Manipur. Army people, police people, they have all been meeting. So I strongly feel these letters which have been sent either by Kuki MLAs or by Meitei MLAs, they are something like crying over the spilled milk. It is not going to make any difference, and it is not going to change the status quo of Manipur, whether Assam Rifle will be kept or whether Assam Rifle will be removed. Yes, there were two actions which happened in the past. One letter was issued where Assam Rifle was removed from one of the particular place, which letter was issued by police, and another was an FIR case. But all these things are being resolved at the highest level, and there is no issue in the operational capability of forces. So I feel that see, everybody has got their own logic. If you talk to Meitei people, they say okay, Assam Rifle is biased because they allowed a few Kuki guys to sneak through the buffer zone and 3 Meiteis were killed. Few allegations they have got. One more allegation, they say that 37 AR guys have stopped the Manipur police, and all these things are there. On the other hand, there are gross. See, if you talk about allegations, so if there are 10 allegations against Assam Rifle, there are 1,000 allegations against Manipur police, for which the video evidence is also available. So if you talk about the trust deficit that Mr. Singh was talking about, the trust deficit, so trust deficit is against both the forces. It is against the Assam Rifle. If there are 10 cases against the Assam Rifle, then there are 100 cases against the Manipur police also. So if you talk about trust deficit, and if you propose to remove Assam Rifle on the basis of trust deficit, then you have to remove the Manipur police also. But that is not the case. Let's come on to the thing, because see, things are now going to improve. The way roadmap has been prepared, I'm getting to know a lot of activities have been happening in the state in last 48 hours, and a massive roadmap has been prepared to bring in peace in the state. And I don't think so that there is any point crying over that Assam Rifle will be removed or not. However, I must tell you the reason why people want Assam Rifle to be removed. There is a reason behind it. That in the military language I'm talking about. See, there are 3,500 weapons still at large in Manipur. And most of them, if you say the distribution 200, 300 are there in Churachandpur, and a bunch of them are in Valley area, which were looted from the police headquarters and police battalions. Now the recovery is a major task, big task. Recovery can happen only when a organized cordon and search operations are carried out in the locality, in the Valley area. Coordinated operations of all the forces are carried out. And which forces are capable of carrying out this cordon and search? Either Indian Army or Assam Rifles. Because when we talk about the central paramilitary forces, CRPF, ITBP, they are not so well trained in carrying out these cordon and search operations. So who are left? Army and Assam Rifles. Now Army cannot step in because there is no Armed Forces Special Power Act. The only force which can carry out the search operations in Valley area is Assam Rifles. And if you say, okay, remove Assam Rifles, so that means it puts a direct question at the recovery of the weapons. It puts a direct question at the peace which is going to bring in the state. So I have told you in the both the things. But nevertheless, I'm saying again and again, seeing the current situation, knowing the current inputs from all the channels, it is difficult for me to believe that, it is near impossible that Assam Rifle or Manipur police will be removed. However, Unified Command is now more active with the recent meetings and all, and I'm sure they're going to take strict action as far as the unified operations are concerned.
Okay.
And ultimate aim is to bring in the peace in the state, so that when the peace is there, at least because so we have seen last 7 days there has not been much of the violence. So if the peace is there, at least communities can come and talk.
Absolutely. I mean, this is something which Home Minister has been saying. I'm coming to you, yes. Dr. Singh. Before I go to Mr. Suhas, you wanted to respond. Please go ahead and respond.
Yeah. I just wanted to add. See, in the letter by written by the 40 MLAs, has particularly mentioned that disarmament is the key to the bringing the solutions. So this is one way what Mr. Major Bansal have talked about. So they have already mentioned that the disarmament is there. But the point here is disarmament. How do you carry out the disarmament? You are saying that if the Assam Rifles be given the power to carry out the arm, I am fine with that. But How do you do in the hills? You have to again have to see both the things. You have to carry out the disarmament on the both side. Why? Because you may mention that there are few 3,500 weapons looted from the police station. Now this much is clear now. In the valley, this much amount of the guns and the arms are circulated. But what about the hills? There are the firing, so much firing and frequent firing using sophisticated weapons and the rocket the launchers which are used in the hill part. How do you, from where it is coming from? You have to search. This is the security of the Indian nation. From where these guns coming from? And till now, more than 100 days, now their bullet and the guns are not yet certain by any agency. Now you are saying this who are armless and the from where it is coming from. Is there any factory, a gun factory in the Chuchampur? Is there any factory in the More? You have to certain that. You are saying there are looted guns. Yes, absolutely, it is there in the record of the police. It is there in the public platform. But what about the guns circulated in the hill area? You have to do the combing operation on that part, in the hill part. Otherwise, how can you bring the peace in the both the side? Number one. Number two, I just wanted to mention you why the MLAs, the 40 MLAs won 3 unit of Assam Rifle from the present positions. Let me tell you, on the 27th May, there is a Sugnu and Serau. There is 633 houses burned at 2:20 a.m. It is within the 1.5 kilometers of Assam Rifle unit, which is 37 Assam Rifle. Now the houses are burned and you are not reacted. You don't even try to find out the culprit. You don't have any time to find out these people. Now after the police force the target them and find out these people, then you stop them. And Assam Rifle, so much so, they blocked the road of the police. If you have any problem, you should talk to CO.
Dr. Ramananda Singh,
No.
I'm coming to you, Mr. Chakma. I'm coming to you. I'm immediately coming to you after this.
Finish 2 minutes. Now, then one point. Second point, in the Kauktuk area, where the one volunteer was killed, Mr. Sujit. His father is a former army man. He's claimed that the Assam Rifle fired on him. The bullet hit on him belongs to the Assam Rifle. He's claiming on the social media and he's claiming in the local media. Number 3, there is buffer zone in the Kaukta village in the 3rd August, where 3 Meiteis were killed brutally. They have been cut by the knives. So in that time, where was the Assam Rifle? 9 Assam Rifle there. And then after that, when they come out for the search, again you block the road of the state police. Now the point here is, even in the letter of the 10 MLAs, they are undermining the role of the state police. They are requesting the Prime Minister to give a direction and to reduce their power and give a direction not to violate the buffer zone made by the central force. Now these kind of the bias.
Okay, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Dr. Singh. I'll first go to Mr. Suhas Chakma sir. Welcome to the program. You are a regular here, and what do you have to say? You were raising your hand. What do you have to say in response to what Dr. Ramananda Singh said?
If we want to be communal in the television channels and talk nonsense, we can always do that, and we are at liberty to do that. At the end of the day, what is in Manipur? In Manipur, it's very clear that the Meitei and the Manipur police are not trusted by the Kukis. And of course, because of the failure of the Meiteis and the Manipur police to enforce law and orders by themselves, they do not trust the Assam Rifles. Now, if we continue to talk in this language in television channels, I don't think peace is going to come. At the end of the day, people who come in television channels, they are not supposed to represent a particular community. They are supposed to represent the people. They're supposed to talk sense in a speak in a dispassionate manner. So that's what I am saying from the beginning, that in Manipur you cannot find a human being because you can only find either a Meitei or either a Kuki. So that is reflected in the political representation also. So therefore, what do you find? You find basically the Kuki MLAs speaking on behalf of the Kukis, Meitei MLAs speaking on behalf of the Meiteis, and nobody is speaking on behalf of Manipur. Is that the situation? Is that what the intellectuals should be doing? What is the situation now? The situation is, the security forces, irrespective of whether they are from the center or the Manipur, they are supposed to enforce the rule of law without any kind of discrimination, in all fairness. And now if we are to find out that this is what the Assam Rifles have done, this is what the Manipur police have done, obviously there are flaws. That's why this problem
have to maintain the quorum. Please remember.
At the end of the day,
let me use these terms. Please remember, you have to find out the root cause. Only then you find out the solutions. Please remember
the root cause, whatever it is.
Use the term
root causes will find out. I did not interrupt you. You do not interrupt me.
I just want to say one thing, Mr. Suhas, Dr. Singh, we don't do debates like this, and Mr. Suhas, I would request you to refrain from using the word like nonsense and all. Any debate doesn't follow a prescribed format just because one person feels that. We want to go into detail, but all of you are respected guests invited by us, trying to understand the problem. And I would seriously and sincerely request you, Mr. Suhas, that please don't use words like nonsense or you're not talking sense and all. It doesn't work here. And I don't think anybody has a right to use that kind of. You may disagree with with Dr. Singh completely. You are entitled for that. I would seriously request you or the rest of the panels to kindly refrain from using the word. This is not a tutu meme debate which we want to indulge into. Now please go ahead and make your point.
The point which I am making, what Manipur needs is a human approach where people or those who are in leadership position, whether in the political level, intellectual level, societal level, they need to have a dispassionate view from the conflict. Obviously, not one particular side is to be blamed because, both sides, some way or the other, responsible, and we have reached in this kind of deplorable situation. What is required at this point of time is to ensure that Manipur is not divided. And what we have ended up at the end of the day, through population transfer, through separate law enforcement, because at the end of the day, you have separate law enforcement for the Meiteis, you have separate law enforcement for the Kukis. And what the government of India has ended up is actually dividing the state, the people, and now the last point where we have come are the security forces. Now, if the security forces are seen as so partisan way, if all the members of state assembly say that this security forces should go, those security forces should go, where would the civilians and normal citizens would go? So what I'm trying to say is that it's our responsibility not to fall in that trap. And unfortunately, what has happened is that whether we like it or not like it, the government of India, because of its inactions, have actually divided the state. There is no de jure division of the state, but there is de facto division of the state. And I think people sitting in Delhi, those who are in charge of the situation, they are actually underestimating the situation. Because the last point which I wanted to mention is that in one hand, you have the Meitei communities. On the other hand, you have a larger Jomi community, Jo Kuki community. And obviously, if you continue to divide this state in this manner, you are not going to find a solution. And the demand from both sides, the MLAs, shows that the BJP itself does not have control over its own MLAs. Now, 40 MLAs from the Meiteis or the Manipur who have come, they belong to the Meitei. An overwhelming majority of the Kuki MLAs, they also belong to the BJP. Now, if you are President JP Nadda, you are Prime Minister of this country, Narendra Modi, and Home Minister of India, Amit Shah, these are your MLAs. can't you tell them to speak the language on behalf of the state? On behalf of all the security forces? No, they have actually failed in that. So it's not only division of the state.
Mr. Suhas, the situation could be that now the situation is so bad that they can't talk any other language than the people they represent. There's a flip side to look at it, and which is very unfortunate, which is very tragic, because nobody would want to see this happening in any part of the world. This is our own country. This is India. This is an Indian state which we are talking about. I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Mr. Suhas. I'll come to you. I'll go to Major Amit Bansal. Mr. Amit, see, the point is that you heard what Dr. M. Ramananda Singh said. You heard what is the larger narrative. I'm not going to dismiss any narrative just because it is inconvenient. And one of the beauty of this program, you may look like we are blowing our own trumpet. One of the beauty of our program is that we have entertained all kind of diverse voices, irrespective of whether it makes us look good to a community or look bad to the community. If there has been, Major Bansal, if there has been such anger in one particular community about the action of a particular battalion of Assam Rifles, let me play the devil's advocate to you. Do you feel that that those complaints should be looked into?
So I'll tell you first thing. You said that yes, if some community has got complaints against one particular battalion of Assam Rifles. Okay, agreed. If there is any issue, the issues can be brought out at the higher level, because since 3rd of June in Manipur, there is already a unified command where Assam Rifles, paramilitary forces, police, they are all working under the command of Mr. Kuldeep Singh, who is the security advisor to Manipur. So there is a unified command. There is already a structure in place. If somebody is faltering on it, the matter should be taken to the unified command. Similarly, and the vice versa. If I agree with you, if I again play the devil's advocate to you, if you say that if a particular Assam Rifle unit is not liked or their actions are not liked by a particular community, they should be removed. Then vice versa, if actions of Manipur police are also not liked by a particular community, so should also they be removed? No. So primary aim of mine and your, we are sitting in Delhi, we don't know what situation exactly in the Manipur, what kind of fear people are carrying in their mind. First and foremost thing is to bring in peace, initiate dialogue, let all the communities come together, talk to each other, remove the differences. So that's what Prime Minister and Home Minister said in last 2 days. And that's how the unified command is going to work on these lines.
Major Bansal,
yes.
You are talking of peace. You're talking of, situation being under control, demilitarization. Those 40 MLAs who have gone there are also asking for demilitarization, or they're saying that, that people who have arms and ammunition should be recovered and all. But is it this easy? Dr. Tombing, don't these words look like lofty words right now as we speak? Because both communities, both sides, forces, everybody wants peace. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants the illegal weapons to be confiscated. Everybody wants the rule of law to prevail. Everybody wants everybody to have a conversation. But somehow the end result is not happening, which is the conversation.
Yes, this is where the rubber meets the road. We are stuck in a certain kind of very murky situation, and whereby the other is accusing the other of being a militant, and then also creating law and order issues and chaos in the society. And one person's patriot is another person's terrorist. That type of situation we have come up with. And the biggest concern is that whatever the common people, ordinary people who have over this period of time being radicalized, whatever they understand, whatever they believe, whatever value system that they have, and thinking that they are doing it for the purposes of protection of land and also other issues of maybe governance or maybe the larger concern of the community. But then it is also important that like our panelist, Mr. Chakma has said, that calm people at a higher position of leadership, etc., speak something which is more qualitative and definitive. Because my understanding as a as a person and someone who likes to critically examine situation is that you could have been a philosopher guide to the society and help the society understand what has gone wrong. But when you also end up speaking the languages of the radicalized masses, maybe you might have relegated yourself from being a philosopher guide to being a servant of a
Okay.
very vicious and a very divisive propagandas, and also of
I'm coming to
other
you, Dr.
aspects
Singh. I'm
of
coming to you.
society. Yeah, that's
Okay,
my
okay.
that's
And
my
I'll
understanding.
first go to Dr. Ramananda Singh and then I'll go to Mr. Suhas. And after that, I'll play the bite of Manipur Tribal Forum, where they have taken umbrage over the statement which has been made by Home Minister Amit Shah in the in the Lok Sabha. And this again is a reflection of how complicated the situation is, where you make a lot of attempt to talk about we want peace. You make a lot of attempt question about we want to disarm the society, people should come forward, civil society, this, that, all kind of noises. But the real thing, there's not even an inch of progress in the real aim of this conversation. Dr. Singh.
Yeah, Brajesh,
And
specifically,
my apologies for that. And because Mr. Suhas is a very respected guest in
no,
this panel. He
I
has
do
been a
agree. I do agree. But see, I have my own opinions and
no, no.
observing. I'm also following,
Dr.
the
Singh, the reason
whole
why we
whole
have diverse
issue
panel
from
is
the
that
beginning.
you are entitled to your opinion, irrespective
Yeah,
of how unpalatable it may sound to
and
me
see,
or to anybody.
if yeah,
Please go ahead.
if we are not talking about the root, yeah,
Yeah,
if we are not talking about the causes, you can't
absolutely.
find solutions. Now,
Yeah.
major point which I want to quote is that as long as the 10 MLAs, including 10 MLAs and my brothers and sisters of the Kuki people, uh, they are sticking to their separate administration, there is no going to be the solutions. There is no going to be peace. Let me tell you. Why? Because the Meitei people want integrity of the Manipur. Meitei people want only one solution, is the whole Manipur should exist, and in that the all community should exist. Now, till now, when you observe whole narrative of whatever going on, did you find an example where the Meiteis attacks the other peoples in the initial period, from the beginning to May 3rd till now? When I'm talking about the 27 May part, which is also they have started, then iteration takes place. On the 3rd August, where the 3 people have killed brutally, and again reiteration takes place. And even on the 3rd May, started from Chuchampur and iterated in Imphal. So whole narrative, you understand that it is not the Meiteis attacking. I'm not talking about in support of the Meiteis. I'm talking about a perspective of it. Meiteis are not attacking on the Kuki people. With some demands of the Kuki, maybe some agitation, maybe for some reasons there is anger by the Meitei brothers and sisters on the Meiteis, and they are aggressive in nature. That's why the things has happened. So in the summary, I just wanted to talk about is that since you are living in Manipur and we all living together, we have to understand the dynamics of Meiteis and the Kukis and the other tribes in the state, and one had understand that if you are sticking to one demand, then there is no solution, because the other will against it. Definitely, I'm talking about even Nagas will against in some part of the territory council demanded by the Kuki people, because there are some area where they have mixed together and live together. They don't want one community captured that areas. So the whole narrative of the Manipur crisis is, as long as they are sticking to the separate administration or separate territory, there is a very very rare chance to come down to the solutions. Only thing is, the whatever your problems, whatever you have to come with some kind of solution and some kind of negotiable
Okay.
term.
Okay.
Only then the government will also, initiate some kind of the process so that can, bring back the normalcy and the peace. That is what I wanted to
Okay,
mention here.
okay. Mr. Suhas, I have this pointers of the letter which has been written by, the 40 MLAs from Manipur, and the key point says that, that they have opposed the demand for separate administration by the Kuki groups. They are saying that separate administration is completely unacceptable. They are saying that they call for complete disarmament. They demand withdrawal of Sioux agreement. They demand, of course, withdrawal of Assam Rifle, and they also say that implementation of NRC in this state and regular elections. You want the situation, Mr. Suhas, to move forward, but the situation is it's still stuck the day the violence started. How do you move forward when there is a zero movement, not even an inch of the movement in the key demands which has been put forth?
I think the first step, which the way to move forward is to control the MLAs and send them a message that you represent all the people of this state. And I tend to agree at this point of time that this is not the right time to talk about the separate administration or some kind of an administration within Manipur or scheduled tribe status for the Meiteis, because simply if you discuss separate administration, autonomy, or scheduled tribe status of the Meiteis, I don't think we exist in an atmosphere where we can even discuss this. The moment you start discussing these issues, then you are in a way provoking the other community. And that is, I think, the mistake which the Ministry of Home Affairs is doing at this point of time, engaging with different groups as if the whole riot started over political demands. As far as I recall, the riots did not start over political demands. There was an opposition to the grant of ST status. It went out of control. Mob violence took place. And we all know how mob violence takes place, and it spirals out of control. And now the question of being practical. We want disarmament, not only of the civilians, not only the groups who are engaged in suspension of operations, but we have to bear in mind that there are also groups belonging to the valley and the Meiteis, insurgent groups who are not part of the ceasefire agreement. So they will continue to operate. So we have to see what is the feasibility of the whole situation. Now, if you look at the whole demand for National Register of Citizens, just want to make it clear, if you want to have a National Register of Citizens, except Assam, which had NRC 1951 and which was further approved by the Supreme Court, no other state can have National Register of Citizens, because you do not know even which is the cut-off year. So you can make demands, but if you look at the law, you have to struggle whether 26 January 1950 is the cut-off year, or in Assam case it was 25th March 1971. So all these demands which people make actually legally untenable. So we are creating a circle or vicious cycle where people don't want to come out of it. I think the immediate measures which are required for the government of India to realize that so long you continue to create buffer zone and have de facto separate administration, you are actually emboldening the groups. Because if the Kuki groups are on the other side, they will believe that, okay, we are also powerful. If there is a separate administration created, law enforcement, we will be powerful. So you are emboldening them. The same goes for the Meiteis. So I think the center, irrespective of what the major had said, they are not taking visible steps. And the only steps which are being taken at this point of time is because of the order which was uploaded in the Supreme Court website last night. Had the Supreme Court not intervened, I would have believed that, these measures would not have taken place. Now, the Supreme Court had said by, I think, 8th of October or something like that, they have to come and submit the reports. Both the DGP rank officer as well as the Justice Gita Mittal's commission. So the Supreme Court shall continuously monitor, and the government is in a tight situation because the Supreme Court will be under, scrutinizing everything. So I think this is the time where for the Prime Minister, for the Home Minister, at least if you are not going to impose president rule, at least tell your MLAs from both sides, stop giving memorandums. If you are Home Minister of the country, you can, if they are your MLAs, and if you are the party president, you can tell them, you don't incite the violence. Okay. And that is what is happening at this point of time.
Okay, Mr. Swas, I'll go to Major Bansal and then I'll go to Dr. Tombing. But first, I would like to play the soundbite of Manipur Tribal Forum, where they have taken exception to the remark which was made by Home Minister Amit Shah of illegal immigrants or the infiltrators who are coming and also are one of the key reason why this chaos is not ending as far as the state of Manipur is concerned. Listen in, and then I'll go to Major Bansal and then to Dr. Tombing.
Today marks the 100th day, counting from the 3rd of May, since the violence in Manipur has started. And as you can see and observed, there has not been any respite. The trouble has continued, the violence has continued, and we are still in a very difficult situation. Home Minister is saying, are becoming aligned. Is there something going on? I don't know. I hope it is not, and I pray that it is not. But it is not worthy. First, we are called immigrants. Now that immigrants of the entire community cannot happen, we are calling, they are coming into infiltrators. What are they going to come up with next? So therefore, it's extremely unfortunate at this point that the voice and the big and the majority of the Mediterranean community are trying to give narrations, and the weak don't have a voice without law and order.
Major Bansal, you heard the statement which has been given by Manipur Tribal Forum. You're talking about unified command. Everybody is talking about disarmament. That's now a key and a buzzword, if I may say, in everybody's communication to the Prime Minister's office. The point and the moot question is that, yes, I agree with you that the government of India is trying its level best to diffuse the situation and tension, because it is in nobody's interest. Barring inimical, threats, people with nefarious designs to the country, it is in nobody's interest. But do you seriously think any kind of movement taking forward, Major Bansal, with this kind of, atmosphere of vitiated atmosphere of distrust and deep divide?
Brajesh, when I talk about the deep divide among the communities, so Manipur is a particular state, and of course, some of the other states of Manipur, Northeast also have this kind of system, where the social factor decides everything. Social pressure are the pressures under which everybody works, even if it is politician, police, bureaucrats, and even the common people, even the militants, the terrorists of a particular community, they work under social pressure, or they influence the social pressure. So, net to net, if I see, it is a vicious network among a particular community only. So, when it comes to disarmament, there is a particular community where people are holding 3,500 plus weapons. They don't want it to get away. So they say, okay, no, first you recover weapon from other community. Similarly, the other community, which is also holding few hundreds of weapons, they say, okay, no, you first recover weapon from other community. So it is not going to resolve the situation first.
But then how do you recover? How do you recover, Major Bansal? Because,
I'm coming on to that.
Yeah.
That is why I'm coming on to that. Let me complete this. So already the meetings have been happening. Yesterday also there was a meeting of the Unified Command. Today also the senior leaders have met, and they are very seriously working, because a lot of serious instructions have been passed from the center. So they are seriously working towards a plan to carry out door-to-door search, to carry out operations, to recover the weapons, so that ultimately when weapons are not there, there are two objectives. One is a short-term objective, one is a long-term objective. Short-term objective is to retain peace, so that no more violence can take place. At the same time, recover the weapons, so that people are coming out of an atmosphere of fear. And thirdly, to provide rehabilitation and relief. Long-term goals, maybe these we talk about so-called separate administration, so-called NRC, and all those things which are being proposed by different groups. So this can be spoken. We can talk about the long terms when there is a peace and when there is already normalcy in the state. But to revive the normalcy, the Joint Operational Command is already working on it. More and more security forces, central security forces, are going to be pumped into the Manipur, so that operations can smoothly run. as bought out by ITLF, they've given their statement when they met Amit Shah. Amit Shah also assured them, Home Minister assured them that after the Amarnath Yatra finishes, he will pump in more forces, central forces.
But Major Bansal, I'm sorry I'm interjecting you, but I just wanted to a clarification on one issue also. When this kind of distrust between the Manipur police and the central forces are there, how does the joint, the joint search or joint seizure, how does it take place? Aren't we back to square one?
It has been discussed with the ITLF meeting, and where Home Minister has already assured that when it comes to the hill areas, or these Manipur police commandos, neither Manipur police commandos nor Assam Rifles, they will be operating in isolation. So if an Assam Rifle unit is operating at some place, they will always be accompanied by some other central forces, maybe CRPF, maybe BSF, maybe ITP or SSP. They'll be accompanied by them. And whenever Manipur police is operating at some place, they will also be accompanied by the central paramilitary forces / Indian Army. So unified command is already in place, and they've already derived these ways and means, so that there is no violation or there is no allegation on these things. See, if a Manipur police commando team is operating in some areas, there may be allegation on them. But if there is a Manipur police commando team is operating in conjunction or along with the CRPF or BSF teams, so there is some neutral factor.
Okay.
So
Dr. Dr. Tombing, how do you see the movement forward? Because ITLF has submitted their demand, Home Minister has spoken on the issue, the Prime Minister has called Northeast is Jigar ka tukda, and Manipur is burning. How do you see the way forward?
Yes. I have looked deep into the abyss and then tried to find the light. And one thing that struck me, a very important incident that happened in the Ramayana, when Ram has defeated Ravana, and then he very respectfully asked him that how do I continue administering so that I bring greater peace to my society? Ravan said, I wish I have not been hasty, and I wish I have done everything in love and out of love. Now, the Kuki Zo community has been from the beginning being termed illegal immigrants, etc. And also on the other side, there's this claim that you are my brother. Then there is this contradiction, because if you say you're a brother and then you don't love your brother, and then you operate against that person in hatred and then call them names, it leads to a kind of a very dark society, and everybody is working in the dark. And then this kind of naming and then calling them illegal immigrants does not stop anyway. Even Tushar Mehta also said that deaths are all infiltrators. Now, and then the HM also says that. Now,
Dr. Tombing, yes, Dr. Tombing. This is a memorandum which has been submitted to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It has been submitted by 40 MLAs from violence-hit Manipur. They have said they have made separate demands. They have talked about on separate administration that they oppose that. They call for complete disarmament. They say that that the withdrawal, the Sioux agreement with Kuki militant groups should be withdrawal. They spoke about Assam Rifles and demanding that 922 and 37 units should be replaced. And more importantly, they say that NRC should be implemented in the state.
Pakistan is actually genociding Baloch people. So being Baloch is a crime. If you are a Baloch, it means in the eyes of Pakistan, you don't have any right to live.
The Chinese and Pakistanis are colonizing the Baloch and exploiting their resources.
The Baloch armed struggle will continue unless China withdraws, Pakistan military withdraws from Balochistan, and give Baloch complete authority to decide for themselves.
The Baloch feel that if they don't act now, they will become marginalized.
What lies ahead for Balochistan?
Balochistan, Bangladesh 2.0, streaming now.
He thought he could outlast us. And 1 year later, the evidence is right here in this room.
Who will